This story happened when I was 15 years old. My best friend, Anthony, invited me over for a sleepover because his parents were gone for the weekend. I rode my bike to his house, parked it in his backyard, and entered through the back door. We spent hours playing every video game he had, from FIFA to Call of Duty. Junk food and popcorn were scattered all over the floor as we indulged. When we got bored of gaming, we started a movie, but didn't finish it, eventually moving on to prank calls around 10 p.m. Anthony dialed a few pizza places and got some laughs. When it was my turn, I decided to call random numbers. On my fourth attempt, a man with a deep, raspy voice answered. Yeah, instead of the usual hello. Anthony's laughter in the background threw me off, and I couldn't keep a straight face. I tried to recover and said, sir, would it be all right if I borrowed one of the wheels from your car? The man paused before replying. What's your name, kid? I stammered, Bob. He interrupted. Really? You sure it's not Anthony? That hit me like a truck. I glanced at Anthony, whose face was pale with fear. Panicking, I hung up the phone immediately. Who was that? I asked him. I don't know, he stuttered. We checked if Anthony's caller ID displayed his name, but it only showed his dad's name. Desperate for answers, we searched online, but found nothing that explained how someone could know his name so quickly. We posted on Yahoo Answers, but no help came. Later that night, we decided to sleep in the living room and resumed the unfinished movie. Just as the prank call faded from my mind, we both froze. The front storm door creaked open, followed by the knob of the main door jiggling against the lock. Anthony quickly turned off the TV, and I peeked out the window. A tall man stood at the door. When he noticed the blinds move, he turned his gaze directly at me. I jumped back and whispered, "The back door." I left it open. The gate to the backyard creaked, and Anthony urged me to shut the door. As I approached, I froze. A dark silhouette stood at the door, peering inside. The man stepped inside. Terrified, I crept back to the kitchen and motioned for Anthony to head upstairs. We hid under his bed, concealed by the cloth covering the frame. Heavy footsteps echoed through the house, coming closer to the stairs. The bedroom door creaked open, and silence filled the room. Anthony's breathing was too loud. I covered his mouth, my heart pounding as footsteps approached the bed. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream erupted as Anthony was dragged out. Grabbing a screwdriver from the nightstand, I drove it into the man's back, causing him to release Anthony. We bolted outside, running into the woods and hiding behind a bush. The man scanned the tree line, but didn't see us. Eventually, he ran in another direction, and we returned to the house, locking every door. The police were called. As I patrolled the backyard, I turned on the lights and saw him near the woods. He disappeared into the shadows. We never saw him again. To this day, I wonder if the prank call had something to do with it. I stayed the night at my friend Paul's house after an argument with my wife. Paul had a spacious house, and he offered me one of his 3 guest bedrooms. The rooms were lined up in a row, with his own room across the hall. Late that night, I started hearing strange noises from the room next to mine. Assuming Paul was in there, I checked with him, but he was already in bed. He explained that the 2 unused guest rooms were always locked because he stored personal belongings there. I tried to ignore the noises and went back to bed. But about 30 minutes later, I heard faint tapping from the wall and what sounded like a voice. Alarmed, I rushed to Paul's room again. This time, he took me seriously and grabbed the keys to check the locked room. Inside, the window was wide open and the closet door was ajar. The bed had signs of someone sleeping on it, and Paul's valuables were gone. Realizing something was very wrong, we checked the 3rd guest room. As soon as we unlocked the door, we saw a dark figure jump out the window onto the patio roof. We ran outside but couldn't catch him. Returning to the 3rd room, we found blood-stained sheets and a butter knife lying on the closet floor. Paul realized his home had been infiltrated for at least a week. The intruders were stealing food and belongings while hiding in plain sight. The people responsible were never caught. When I was 10 years old, I had my first sleepover at my friend Jordan's house. We played video games in his basement until late at night before crashing on the couches. Sometime during the night, I woke up to find the TV still on, casting a dim light across the room. In the corner near the stairs, I saw a tall, shadowy figure that almost reached the ceiling. Before I could react, the TV turned off, plunging the room into darkness. Terrified, I shut my eyes and stayed still until I somehow fell back asleep. I woke up to the sound of Jordan's mom screaming upstairs. We rushed to his parents' room to to find her sobbing while his dad searched the house. There were no signs of anyone entering or leaving. Years later, Jordan told me his mom admitted to seeing a tall, dark figure standing by their bedroom door that night. The same figure I saw in the basement. If you're enjoying these terrifying tales, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a creepy story. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Also, let me know in the comments which story scared you the most, or share your own chilling experiences. I'd love to hear them.